Alright guys, welcome back. This is game 3 between Leenock and MarineKing, the losers match. One of these players, whoever loses this game, is going to be out of the group. So, root for your favorite. Get on Twitter, tweet about it, hashtag GSL. Anyways, bottom left is Leenock, of course, and at the top right, we have MarineKing Prime. So this is a really tense match for both these players. The map is Daybreak, a map that Leenock chose. It's a really long rush distance between the two bases. This is a two-player map, though. And Leenock is going to send a very early drone scout this game, of course, because he's playing against MarineKing. It's a two-player map. Any two-player map against MarineKing, you want to be careful. You never know what he's going to pull on you. He named himself after Boxer for a reason, and with this scout, he will be able to see a gas first build coming out here. SCV comes out as well. They're going to pass each other. Decides to send the SCV back, actually, when he sees that drone scout. Because he's going to need... I wonder where he's going to position his first barracks. We'll see. And time will tell. Actually sends it back to just chase that drone, because if he makes his barracks inside his main, which it looks like he's going to do, then he's going to need something to help with that drone. And indeed, does send that. And Leenock is going to go hatch first again. And we'll see if he follows up with gas like usual. Leenock's drone continuing to scout. He does see, of course, the gas first. He's going to be watching that orbital very intently, because he wants to know if there's a second barracks somewhere out there on the map. Most likely there's not, but you never know. So it's very important to watch on that. May even target down this SCV. Could have killed it if he went for it, but the skittish drone didn't want to commit. He's actually going to go to work on this second SCV, but the barracks does finish here, and the drone, very low on hit points. Factory goes down immediately, so just a super fast factory. That's what he wanted to see. Want to make sure it wasn't some sort of Reaper build or something crazy where another barracks is proxied. So he gets all the scouting information in the world and damages units significantly, and gets the extractor. So if MarineKing is trying to plan some Cloak Banshee build or something like that, it's not going to happen anymore. With no second gas. He also knows since the barracks is late, the Marines are going to be coming out late, so the extractor is not going to be killed. That's not even significant, but that's just something that's unfortunate for MarineKing. He cannot stop that extractor. And almost got the drone there, actually. The reactor and factory going down from MarineKing. He didn't spot the reactor, but he can assume. It's a very common build. Starport going down from MarineKing. He's going to be doing basically a one base, really fast Hellion Marine timing attack. May follow this up with Banshees as well. 2 Hellions coming out now. The barracks forming a little bit of a wall for MarineKing. Leenock starts a spine at home because he knows the reactor Hellions are going to be coming soon. His gas is still blocked by the extractor here. Will we see MarineKing drop down a tech lab here, or just go ahead and make a medevac soon? He wanted that starport very quickly to find out the reason. And it is going to be a medevac. Of course, the most common choice, the choice everyone expected to see. But we're going to have 4 Hellions dropped very quickly into Leenock's base. And with the medevac there, he's going to be able to pick up the Hellions to dodge all sorts of things. Like if Zerglings try to come and surround, you can just pick them up, move them, dropping at the natural. The Queens are going to be his biggest fear, but he's going to be able to do a lot with these Hellions with the dropship out. Not using his barracks really at this moment either. Something else to note. He's actually cut production of it 100%. Right now, the medevac is on the way to meet up with the Hellions. They're going to actually be spotted by Leenock's Overlord. If Leenock notices this, he's going to position Zerglings into his main base. And he already does, even having the Queen here. Double Queens, and MarineKing totally shut down with this first early push. He's got a Viking coming in here to follow this up. It's going to allow him to pick off Overlords that may spot. Also, it's going to help him clean up the map. He may even use this Viking as an aggressive unit. Might land it to try to kill units on the ground. Like the Queens, for example. If he's going to try to do that with the Queens, I think he should land the Hellions on low ground, but either way, here comes the Viking. The Viking can kill a Queen fairly quickly. We'll see exactly what he's got in mind. Leenock getting really ahead right now, though. He's got a third base on the way. He's droning up quite heavily. Look at those Hellions. So there's a lot of them here. I don't think a direct approach is going to work. The Viking is going for overlords around the map. Not fighting though, and he's actually taking a lot of unnecessary hits on it. The drop commences here, and there may be enough Hellions here to clean up these queens. It's going to be close. They do have a transfuse. Will they use it? Yes, one transfuse goes down, and I believe the second queen has one as well. Yep, transfuses before dying. One queen falls, second one remains alive. Is the dropship still around? That was the question. Yes, it is. He may decide to drop again. Miscontrol there, losing a Hellion without really fighting with it. 2 more barracks going down from MarineKing now. And Leenock really ahead at this point. He's been droning up like a madman. He's got a third base, or third hatchery finished up. And that extra production is going to allow him to easily take the third base. +1 Carapace is on the way now for Leenock. He's got a lair on the way. He's going to catch these Hellions. But since they were against the wall, he couldn't really surround them. He decided to run around. I like that choice. Lost a few Zerglings, but could have lost them all. MarineKing in a tough spot, though now. Can't really make these Hellions do anything. His tech is a little bit behind. There's halfway done for Leenock right now. Double eBay going up for MarineKing. And, you know, MarineKing's got this Hellion force around the middle of the map, which is going to allow him to control the center. But he doesn't have any pushes he can really do right now. So controlling the watchtowers isn't really going to make Leenock scared. Leenock knows, okay, you really committed to this. You're on one base pretty heavily for a while. You don't have a push you can do right now. These Hellions are going to perhaps kill a queen here, which is kind of annoying for Leenock. And actually, he's going to try to break through here, and he will at least temporarily get through. The Zerglings do rally out. The Spine and the Queen's doing so much extra damage. I think this was a mistake by MarineKing, but he's trying to make use of his Hellions in any way he can. The Spire going to go down right in front of the Hellions' faces, so he does scout that. Well, that's something he knew was coming anyways. But as I was saying, he couldn't really use those Hellions for much. You know, cleaning up the watchtowers is not going to help him do a push secretly. It's not going to go. Leenock's going to be like, oh, I didn't see that push coming because you had the watchtowers with the Hellions, because he couldn't do a push yet. Look at that small army he's got right now. That's not enough to do a push. It's not going to work. Now the watchtowers are in the possession of Leenock. He's cleaned them up. He's even going to put on some pressure here to see what's going on. He wants to see if there's a third base. And right now, Leenock is actually up to 4 gases. He's taking that third base, which is going to be his 4th hatchery. Baneling speed, +1 melee weapons, as well as burrow, all on the way for Leenock. And his gas is getting up there with those 4 gases. He's going to have enough gas to make about 6 to 8 mutas most likely when that Spire finishes. He actually decided to make a ton of Banelings in attack here. MarineKing does have tanks out, but there are so many Zerglings here. This actually may just end the game, guys. I actually did not expect Leenock to do this. Coming in, the Banelings hitting a ton of Marines, really good hits. Could have actually used Medivacs to pick up those Marines, but he knew that the SCVs would go down if he didn't take out the Banelings, and that is a huge loss for MarineKing. But a lot of gas lost as well for Leenock. Right now, the worker count 53 to 39. Not the hugest deficit. I don't like this choice. Some of these Zerglings in here needs to go home with those. But 6 mutas on the way now as the Spire finished. 8 more drones. He's got that third base up. He's got enough drones to fully saturate 3 bases. He's going to take those gases out of that base very soon as well. +1 flyer weapons on the way. And MarineKing kind of stuck on the back foot here. He lost a lot of his army with that attack. He's stuck on his base a little bit. He's got an armor on the way so we can get 2-2 upgrades. His 1-1 finishing right now. You can see the 1-1 finishing just a little bit earlier for Leenock, or actually around the exact same time, really. And these first few mutas are going to come in here, try to do what they can, but MarineKing is prepared for this. He's already got a turret up in the main. He's got his Marines coming in the main to defend this, and at the natural, there are already a few Marines. He does get a few SCVs, though. If he loses any mutas, though, it won't be worth it. Ooh, losing 2 mutas there, definitely not worth it to go with that first few. I've been talking to a lot of people about this, namely Artosis, actually. Because of the mule, it's better if you actually send your mutas in to kill units that come out of barracks or kill add-ons than it is to kill workers. If you're going to lose any mutas at all, you would have rather killed units than SCVs. Because the mule is so strong, that was pretty much a negligible effect, like killing like 2 or 3 SCVs with those mules. It was not really an accomplishment for Leenock. But either way, that drop is shut down in the main base. Leenock now with a ton of larvae stacked up. It looks like he's trying to decide exactly what to do with it here. Gonna make some more mutas. +1 flyer attacks almost done. So you can see his mutas count getting higher and higher. 4 more on the way. Gonna come in here and attack some of these add-ons. Going for the starport first here. Damaging it, but will actually have to get out of there without doing any real damage. But if you're not going to lose your mutas, it's okay no matter what you target. Just very good to prioritize. Trying to get a siege tank now, but there's a bunker there as well as a lot of marines, so he's got to back off. 2-2 is way ahead of 2-2 for Leenock. MarineKing halfway done with both of his upgrades. +2 melee weapons just now started for Leenock. No +2 carapace started at all. You can see as our observer is highlighting, he does have a 4th base on the way, as well as his 3rd base is fully saturated with both gases running. Adding some banelings into his composition and getting +2 flyer weapons right now. And Leenock's trying to catch reinforcements at this point. Nice dodge there with the mutas, even forced to stim. Trying to force another one. Very crafty. Ooh, look at this. He's trapped these units with Zerglings. MarineKing just barely gets out there, but he did have to stim again. And 2 medevacs fall. There are a few banelings out here. Could try to set some traps, which I'm surprised MarineKing did not freak out about earlier when those mutas were just running around. I would have definitely scanned in that situation. MarineKing in a tough spot though, does not want to use any scans. He knows his economy is not that good compared to his opponent. And huge mistake there by Leenock, throwing away some mutas. Not the best control. You can see he's up 50 supply though right now. 3-3 is on the way though for MarineKing. He's way ahead in upgrades. That's one thing he's really got going for him. And everybody knows the Marines are the most cost-efficient unit in the game. That's not even arguable. So we'll see how that works out. Baneling's actually being moved a little bit closer to MarineKing now. Leenock trying to do what he can, trying to pull those units into the banelings. Infestation pit on the way, as well as more drones coming out for Leenock right now. Marines dangerously close to those banelings. A huge Zerling attack at the bottom right just to check for a base, also to set up some Zerlings for a possible run by. And the mutas ready to attack that 3rd base at any moment. As soon as the Marines move out, I think he's going to do it. This turret may grant vision of the banelings. Yes, it does. And he's actually going to go for that turret immediately for that reason, it looks like. MarineKing not realizing what's going on. Hive on the way for Leenock right now, as well as that pathogen gland upgrade. And the starport falls for MarineKing. That is unfortunate. That means no more medevacs, which means each stim is more and more important as time goes on. Starts another starport immediately. 2 Thors on the way. Really nice timing for MarineKing to get those Thors out. The Mulus count was getting a little bit out of control, but the Infestors are on the way. He's switching into Infestors. He's got the Hive Tech out, so having no starport, when that Greater Spire starts, he's not going to really have any Vikings, so it's a tough spot to be in for MarineKing. He's stuck on 3 bases, kind of stuck in his base, but he has done this correctly. He's turtled up. He's trying to get that maxed out army before he moves out, and he's going to really rely upon his micro. It's just that he's got this time bomb, this ticking time bomb, which is the Greater Spire. He's got to do this before Broodlords are out, because he doesn't have a starport. Starport's just now finishing up. And, you know, his opponent knows what's going on. He knows he's stuck on 3 bases. He's just teching up to that Greater Spire. +2 carapace on the way now for Leenock. He's got Infestors out to slow down this huge push. Since it's so marine heavy, just a few good fungals will really change this. Greater Spire is on the way. Here comes Zerglings now running into the 3rd base to slow down this push. We'll see if MarineKing turns around. I don't think he really can't really afford to. And not even using his banelings to deal with those SCVs. Whoa! Really nice marine split by MarineKing, but he almost got fungled. He may still get fungled. A little bit of hesitation by Leenock. He's going to lose that possible 5th base. And a ton of drones as well. And it looks like a continued counterattack going on by Leenock at the natural now. MarineKing cannot afford to turn around. He has a decent amount of units in his main. A good fungal here, but not the best fungal. Leenock's just going to continue to funnel units, trying to funnel up this ramp. The starport goes down again. Remember, 2 corruptors are on the way. If that Greer Spire finishes, he's going to have those broodlords out, which even though the marine count is quite good, he's going to be able to use those broodlords to kind of force the engagements to be his way. I don't know, MarineKing's got a lot of units here, guys. A nice fungal on some of those marines. But he's really starting to hit on the production here of Leenock. Leenock has a ton of resources banked up here, but he cannot spend all of them. A huge baneling hit there. And a little bit of hesitation on those banelings. Broodlords being morphed, 8 of them, in fact. No, actually, that's a 6. It's not an 8. But 6 is almost 8. Ultralisk Cavern on the way for Leenock as well. So this base is going to go down very quickly. And the production really reduced right now for Leenock. He's got to kill this army. Oh no, huge overstep with those Zerlings. Alright, the Broodlords are out. They're on the high ground here. He's got Mutas to support them. The Thor is doing a ton of damage though. Those Mutas got to be careful with that. And the Marine count's starting to get lower and lower. But MarineKing is being extremely calculated with this. It's actually going up now to hit the last production. The tech structures, the spawning pool being remade right now. It's going to have to do... Oh, good fungals, but I think these Broodlords are going to fall, and I feel like Leenock is actually going to lose this game right now. As these last Broodlords fall, MarineKing playing from behind but making all the right choices, actually targeting down some of these Mutas. The Mutas are really the key here. If the Mutas count gets too low, which it already has, I think it's down to 10. It's going to be so hard as there are so many Thors out on the map now. A good baneling hit hits these Marines. Nice control by Leenock, reducing the Marine count even further. 7 Ultras are on the way, though. That is so crucial right now. If he can get those Ultras out, I feel like he may be able to kill MarineKing, but MarineKing has killed so much production. He's actually going to kill this hive here, and the Ultras Cavern is going to fall after that. So these first few Ultras that are going to come out are going to be key, and I believe Ultras are going to pop out of those very eggs. So when they do, they're going to die almost instantly. He's trying to time these Mutas coming in here with the Ultras. Nice timing by Leenock. And it looks like these Ultras and Mutas will clean up this army just barely. Tanks being picked up and split to try to save them. But MarineKing now significantly down on supply. That medevac holds a siege tank. It was close, guys. I actually wasn't sure who was going to really come out ahead in this game. MarineKing, though, still has a decent army, and he's got so many mules. Look at that income tab. Our observers thought of it just as I did, man. Look at that. He's got better income right now. He's got really good production. He's got tech. He's got 7 Marines at a time coming out of here, whereas his opponent, Leenock, has just 1 hatchery right now. He's had to remake all of his tech. He did keep the Ultralisk Cavern alive, so that's something that's going to be quite useful. And he's got these Mutas to harass. If Marines stem and run down here to attack these Mutas, though, there's going to be Ultras ready to greet them. Here they are. And now the Marines are kind of stuck back at the corner. Marines do stem. The siege tank doing some extra damage as well, targeting down the Ultras. The Ultras not engaging very efficiently here. It may be enough, though. Nice micro by MarineKing. More Marines coming down. He's fighting behind the mineral line, and he actually takes out the rest of these Ultras. Things getting out of control, and I think MarineKing is definitely in the lead here. He's got better production, 7 Marines at a time coming out. The Ultralisk Cavern is still alive. He's actually continuing to make Ultras. I don't think that's the right choice. He's now transferring some of his drones because he does have that old 3rd base remade, but MarineKing's got a really strong push coming across here, and Leenock does not have much of an answer for it. He does not have the larva. Look, he's got 1,300 minerals. It's not like he's trying to choose between Zerglings or Ultralisk. It's not like his hardest choice. He just doesn't have Queens yet. He needs larva to deal with this, and MarineKing's got awesome production right now. He's got a few Ultras at the top of the ramp here. MarineKing's units are weak. Nice micro here. Stims, though, and the Ultras retreat. I like this micro by Leenock. He may lose the spawning pool again. Pulling back, targeting down the Ultras as best as he can. There are a few banelings in the mix as well. And the Ultras burrow. A huge mistake, I feel, by Leenock. Could have gotten a few extra hits in here, and MarineKing's going to kill the spawning pool yet again. More Marines rallying in here. And I think this may be it. There's not enough production for Leenock to hold off this continued aggression. The spine will fall. Remember, these Marines are really heavily upgraded. The Zerglings cannot compete. It's going to fall back to these siege tanks. Ultra's taking a ton of hits. 2-1 upgrades to 3-3. And this hatchery will fall, and Leenock looks like he's going to be out here of this group. He's trying as hard as he's now long-distance mining from this base. Probably going to send the majority of these drones to mine from his only base, which is his old 3rd, which doesn't even have that many minerals. A transfuse on the Ultra, trying to do everything he can. He's so desperate right now. More Marauders being rallied out for MarineKing right now. He's actually kind of skimped on his production a little bit as he's really concerned about microing. His marines or his minerals getting a little bit high. Concerned about this counterattack. You can see 21 workers for MarineKing to 30 of Leenock, but with the mules being dropped, it doesn't matter. Oh no, Leenock being caught way out of position here, but the tanks are unsieged. A few Marauders though do join into the mix, and I think this is going to be the last stand for Leenock. Ultralisk falls, and look at that, 20 supply up for MarineKing. He's got real units. Leenock has no production whatsoever. He's got 14 Zerglings coming out now. That's not even going to be close to enough. This is the heavily upgraded units of MarineKing. He's adding 2 tanks into this composition again since he lost his final tanks. He's still got Marauders in this mix to deal with Banelings. And I don't even believe he has a Baneling nest left anyways. Looks like he's going to go right for this third base location. Leenock sees this push coming in now. He does have a few units to help defend this. The stem goes down. The queen falls. There is another queen, though. Oh, this is so tense right now. But Leenock losing one of his ultras. Hit points getting low, but he's pushing this back. Really nice micro by MarineKing, though. He is the king of Marines. Transfuse goes off in the ultra. And the medevacs healing these Marines. Are they enough? Not quite. He has to lift up. This is such a close game right now, but MarineKing continue to drop mules. Look at that. A huge secondary force there. And so much production. Right now, it's always like 10 Zerglings and an Ultralisk on the way. He does have that Baneling nest remade, so he's making some Banelings, but Marauders are on the way, and with good Marine splitting, the creep is just not what it used to be. Off creep, the Banelings cannot engage, and even on creep, he's got medevacs. He doesn't have any Spire, he doesn't have any way to deal with the medevacs, so he can just lift up against the Banelings if he wants to. And MarineKing actually even retaking some gases. I really like MarineKing's decision-making at the end of this game. Gonna scan, clean up some more creep. Things looking very grim for Leenock right now. This is a very strong force barreling down on this hatchery. He's actually going to possibly target it down. No, just going for the drones instead. The Ultras cannot really get into a good engagement. Baneling's being targeted by siege tanks, and I think this is definitely the end. The last Ultralisk fall. GG. MarineKing has done it. He's got one more game to play before he advances out of this group, but Leenock will not be advancing. We're going to take a short little break. During this break, go on Twitter, follow GOMTV, follow me at ProxyWolf. See you guys in a few.